Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment when you look in the mirror and realize this can't be it. This can't be the limit of who I am. Deep down you feel it, the pull to rise higher, to break free from the habits, the fears, the stories that have kept you stuck. Today is not just another day. It's the line in the sand, the moment you stop waiting for change and become it. Because if you don't decide right now to transform your life, life will decide for you. And you may not like its choice. And ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when you look at where you are and realize deep down, you were meant for more. You feel it in your gut, that quiet whisper that says, this isn't it, there's more in me, there's more I can do, there's more I can become. And I'm here to tell you something powerful. That whisper is not random. That voice is your potential calling out, demanding that you wake up and claim the life you were born to live. Because change doesn't happen someday. It doesn't happen when you get lucky. It happens when you decide right now that you've had enough of living below what you're capable of. And you want to change your life. Then stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for the motivation to show up. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. You move first and the fire follows. You start before you're ready. You take one small, courageous step, and the path begins to reveal itself. Change begins the moment you take responsibility. Not when you blame, not when you make excuses, not when you hope someone else saves you. It begins when you say, it's on me, my life is in my hands, I am the one who decides what happens next. And the truth is, your life changes the instant you make a real decision. A real decision means cutting off every other possibility. When you decide to change, it's not a wish, it's a must. It's not I'll try, it's I will. And that's when something shifts inside you. That's when the excuses, the fear, and the doubt begin to lose their power. You no longer negotiate with your limitations. You stop arguing for your weakness and start fighting for your strength. Because deep inside, you already know what needs to change. You've known it for a long time. The question is, will you finally act on it? And every one of us has two identities. The one we live every day and the one we're capable of becoming. Most people settle for the first one because it's comfortable, it's familiar, but comfort is the enemy of growth. If you want to change your life, you have to be willing to do what's uncomfortable. You have to train yourself to move toward the things that scare you, because fear is a compass pointing directly to your next level. The fear of failing, the fear of rejection, the fear of looking foolish, those are not stop signs, they're invitations. They're signals that growth is waiting for you on the other side. And think about it. What would your life look like if you stopped letting fear make your decisions? How different would things be if, instead of holding back, you gave everything you had to the vision inside your heart? The truth is, change doesn't come from wishing. It comes from rewriting the story you tell yourself about who you are. You're not your past, you're not your mistakes, you're not the opinions of others. You are the creator of your destiny, and that creation begins with belief. You must believe with every cell in your body that you are capable of more, because the moment you believe it, your brain starts finding ways to make it real. But belief alone isn't enough. You've got to follow it with massive action. You can't just sit around visualizing and hoping. You must do something every single day that moves you closer to the person you want to become. Maybe it's waking up earlier, maybe it's cutting off toxic habits, maybe it's forgiving someone you've held a grudge against, or forgiving yourself. Because change isn't just about doing more, it's about becoming more, it's about raising your standards. If you want to change your life, raise your standards. Decide that what was once acceptable no longer is. Decide that average is not good enough for you. When you change your standards, your entire world begins to shift to match them. And most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they settle for less. They get comfortable with good enough. But good enough is the enemy of great. You've got to raise your emotional threshold. You've got to tell yourself no more. No more waking up without purpose. No more letting fear win. No more waiting for the perfect time. The time is now. The person who changes their life isn't the one with all the answers. It's the one who acts even when they don't. Because clarity comes from engagement, not thought. The more you move, the more you'll discover. The more you push, the more strength you'll find. But you've got to start. You've got to begin before the perfect plan appears. You don't need the whole map. You just need to take the first step. And when you take that step, something incredible happens. Momentum. Momentum is life's secret weapon. Once you start moving, even a little, you begin to build energy, confidence, and belief. And belief is contagious. It spreads through your body, your thoughts, and your actions. Suddenly, you start to see possibilities that weren't visible before. You realize you're capable of far more than you imagined. You start feeling alive again. That's the reward for courage. That's the power of change. But it doesn't happen to the people who wait. It happens to the people who move. And now, let's be real. Change is not easy. You'll face resistance. The old you will fight to survive. Your mind will try to pull you back into comfort, into safety, into the familiar. It'll whisper, you can do it tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week, and next week becomes next year, and before you know it, another decade is gone. Don't let that happen. You owe it to yourself to step into the power that's been buried inside you all along. You owe it to the people who love you, to the world that needs your gifts, to the vision that's been waiting for you to show up fully. And change doesn't mean you'll never struggle again. It means you'll handle struggle differently. It means instead of saying, why me, you'll start saying, try me. You'll look at challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities to become stronger, smarter, more resilient. Because every time you overcome something you once thought was impossible, you expand your identity. You start to see yourself differently. You start to realize that you're not defined by your environment, you define it. You don't adapt to circumstances, you shape them. And that's the key. You must change your state before you can change your life. You can't create a powerful life from a powerless state. You've got to move, breathe, shift your energy, and change your focus. When you stand tall, when you speak with certainty, when you breathe deeply and take control of your physiology, everything changes. Because emotion creates motion, and motion creates results. You can't wait to feel good to take action. You take action to feel good. You don't wait to feel confident to speak up. You speak up and confidence shows up. That's how transformation works, from the inside out. And every great life is built one decision at a time. Every breakthrough began with a moment of courage, a moment where someone said, enough, I'm changing this. And that moment is available to you right now. Maybe you've failed before. Maybe you've been hurt, rejected, disappointed. But your past doesn't predict your future unless you live there. You can let it go. You can forgive yourself. You can decide that this chapter will be different. Because every second you spend doubting yourself is a second stolen from your destiny. And you were not put here to play small. You were put here to live fully, to give boldly, to grow relentlessly, and to love deeply. And so, if you truly want to change your life today, stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for signs. The sign is you. The power is already within you. All that's missing is your decision to unleash it. Take the first step. Make the call. Start the project. Begin the habit. Do it scared. Do it messy. Do it now. Because one day you'll look back and realize that everything changed the day you finally did. And when you finally take that first step, something inside you wakes up. A fire, a drive, a sense of purpose that's been waiting beneath the surface, hungry to come alive. You start to see life differently. You begin to realize that nothing changes until you do. The people who transformed their lives didn't do it because life handed them perfect circumstances. They did it because they refused to let their circumstances define them. They built their power from the inside out. They stopped asking for an easier life and started demanding a stronger version of themselves. Because when you become stronger, life becomes lighter. When you grow, the problems that used to break you no longer even shake you. And change begins with awareness, but it expands through consistency. You can have the biggest dream in the world, but if you don't build habits to support it, it fades. Success doesn't belong to the most talented, it belongs to the most committed. It belongs to the ones who show up even when they don't feel like it. Every single day they move, they grow, they learn, they push, and they repeat. And that repetition turns discipline into identity. Because at some point you stop forcing yourself to do what's right, you simply become the kind of person who does it naturally. That's real change, that's transformation. It's not about pretending to be better. It's about embodying who you were always meant to be. And I want you to understand something powerful. The gap between who you are and who you want to be isn't as wide as it feels. It's just built out of hesitation, fear, and old beliefs. The moment you challenge those beliefs, the gap starts to close. When you say, "I'm tired of living small," the universe begins to shift in your favor. It responds to boldness. It rewards movement. It aligns with those who dare to act. Because life doesn't respond to wishful thinking. It responds to decisive action backed by unwavering belief. And you see, transformation isn't about changing your whole world overnight. It's about changing the direction of your life today. One choice, one shift, one courageous decision that says, this is where it begins. When you change your direction by even a few degrees over time, that small shift takes you to an entirely different destination. It's the power of compounding tiny adjustments that build unstoppable momentum. You don't need to move mountains today. You just need to start pushing one small rock. And keep pushing until it rolls on its own, and yes, it will get hard. You'll have moments where your old self tries to pull you back. You'll question if it's worth it, if you're capable, if change is even possible. But let me remind you, the pain of discipline is temporary, the pain of regret lasts forever. You can suffer for a few months to create a new life, or you can suffer for a lifetime wishing you had. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you are rewriting your destiny. Every time you get back up after failing, you are proving that you're no longer controlled by fear. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the path to it. Every stumble, every setback, every no is shaping you into the person who can handle the yes when it arrives. And think about the people you admire, the ones who inspire you. None of them had it easy. Every one of them went through darkness, rejection, doubt, and struggle. But they refused to quit. They understood something most people don't. The storm isn't there to destroy you, it's there to reveal you. Pressure creates power. Challenge builds character. Pain refines purpose. You don't grow when things are easy. You grow when you're stretched, when you're tested, when life dares you to rise. And when you do, you discover a strength you didn't even know existed. And so if you're in a difficult season right now, don't curse it, use it. Let it teach you, let it fuel you, let it carve out the person you need to become for the future you want to live. Because everything you're going through right now is preparing you for the life you've been asking for. Growth isn't pretty and it isn't comfortable, but it's worth it. Every scar tells a story of survival. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every time you endure, you earn a new level of peace, and you want to know what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's not luck, and it's not resources, it's relentless focus. The achievers know how to lock in on what matters and block out what doesn't. They know how to keep their mind aligned with their mission. Your focus is your greatest weapon. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you focus on your problems, you'll get more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you'll see solutions. The quality of your life will always be determined by the quality of your focus. So train your mind to focus on what empowers you. Wake up each morning with gratitude, not frustration. Direct your attention toward what you can control, not what you can't. Because energy follows direction, and direction creates destiny, and let's talk about environment. You cannot change your life while staying surrounded by the same energy that keeps you stuck. You've got to elevate your surroundings. If you spend your time with people who doubt you, you'll start to doubt yourself. If you surround yourself with those who expect greatness, you'll begin to rise. Energy is contagious. Choose wisely what you expose yourself to. Read things that feed your mind. Listen to voices that challenge you. Hang around people who push you to level up, not those who keep you comfortable. The fastest way to grow is to be around people who refuse to let you play small. And there will be moments when you feel alone, misunderstood, or unseen. That's part of the process. Change isolates you before it elevates you. It removes what no longer serves you so you can make space for what will. So, when people walk away, when things fall apart, when the old world starts crumbling, don't panic. That's proof that your new world is being built. Sometimes the hardest goodbyes are the most necessary ones. You can't reach new heights holding on to old weights. And never forget, the words you speak shape the world you live in. Every time you say, I can't, you weaken your belief. Every time you say, I will, you strengthen it. Your language is the blueprint of your life. Speak life into your future. Speak confidence into your identity. Speak possibility into your vision. Even when it feels unrealistic, say it anyway. Because your subconscious listens to your words. It doesn't care if they're true or false. It believes what you tell it. So feed it with faith, not fear. Feed it with power, not doubt. And you are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. You are in the middle of your becoming season. This is where your future self is being built. Every day you show up for yourself, even when no one sees it. You are investing in a version of you that one day will walk into rooms and command them. The world doesn't need another perfect person. It needs someone authentic, someone relentless, someone who refuses to settle. That's you. You have that in you right now, and I want you to feel this truth in your bones. You already have everything you need to change your life. You don't need permission. You don't need more time. You don't need someone to come save you. You are the answer you've been waiting for. When you start acting like it, life starts responding differently. Doors open, opportunities appear, energy returns, confidence rises because the universe respects boldness. It rewards those who dare to act as if they already are who they're becoming. And so make a decision today, not someday today. Make the decision that your future self will thank you for. The decision to stop playing small. The decision to stop negotiating with mediocrity. The decision to raise your standard so high that the old you can't reach it anymore. Decide to lead with courage instead of fear. Decide to speak life instead of doubt. Decide to move forward even if your legs shake. Because the truth is, you'll never feel ready, and that's exactly why you must begin. And when you act from that place of power, life shifts. You start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. You start feeling gratitude where others feel lack. You start realizing that you've been in control all along. Change doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. It comes from that one decision made again and again to keep rising no matter what stands in your way. Because once you taste what it feels like to truly grow, to truly own your life, you'll never want to go back. And that's when the real transformation begins. And once that transformation begins, everything changes not just around you, but within you. You begin to notice how your thoughts start aligning with your goals. You catch yourself reacting differently to the things that used to trigger you. You start choosing peace over chaos, purpose over distraction, progress over perfection. You begin to understand that transformation isn't an event. It's a daily commitment to becoming your best self, no matter what comes your way. The people who change their lives don't wait for motivation to show up, they create it. They build it brick by brick through discipline, through consistency, through refusing to quit even when no one is watching. And you've got to remember, change doesn't happen because you talk about it. It happens because you do something about it, over and over until the world has no choice but to adjust to the new version of you. You see, there's a difference between interest and commitment. Interest says, I'll do it when it's convenient. Commitment says, I'll do it no matter what. The moment you stop negotiating with your excuses and start honoring your commitments, your entire life elevates. Because the truth is, life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're willing to fight for. And there's something extraordinary that happens when you decide that failure is not final. You stop fearing mistakes and start learning from them. You stop hesitating and start adapting. Every mistake, every setback, every challenge becomes fuel. And that's when life opens up. That's when possibilities multiply. You realize that your challenges aren't holding you back. They're shaping you for what's next. The people who thrive in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop learning. They use every fall as a lesson, every loss as a message, every obstacle as a teacher. And here's the truth most people never understand. Your external world is a reflection of your internal world. If your life feels stuck, it's not the world holding you down, it's your mindset. You can't plant seeds of doubt and expect to harvest confidence. You can't fill your days with negativity and expect your life to bloom. You've got to shift your inner dialogue. Start speaking to yourself like someone you're responsible for helping. Treat your mind as sacred space, guard it, nurture it, feed it with intention. Because your mind is the foundation of everything you build. If the foundation is weak, the structure can't stand. And that's why you must take control of your focus, your energy, and your thoughts every single day. Don't wake up and react to life, wake up and design it. Before you grab your phone, before you scroll, before you let the world tell you who to be, take a moment to decide who you will be today. Set your emotional tone, decide what kind of energy you'll bring into every interaction. When you start your day with intention, you stop being controlled by circumstances and start creating them. Because the power to change your life lies in mastering your emotions, not avoiding them. And let's be clear, discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Everyone wants transformation, but few are willing to do the uncomfortable work it takes to sustain it. Discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's saying no to what you want now for what you want most. It's doing what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. It's showing up tired, showing up scared, showing up imperfect, but showing up anyway. Because every time you do, you're telling the universe, I'm serious about my future. And the universe responds to seriousness. It responds to consistency. It responds to action. And you see, the secret to success is not intensity, it's persistence. Anybody can get excited for a week. Anybody can be disciplined for a month. But can you stay consistent when the applause stops? Can you keep going when progress feels invisible? Can you keep believing when the results don't show yet? That's where transformation happens. In those quiet moments of persistence when no one sees the grind, but you keep going anyway. That's when you build grit. That's when you develop unshakable faith. That's when you create a life that no storm can destroy. But as you grow, something else happens. You begin to outgrow the person you used to be, and that process is uncomfortable. It feels lonely at times. The old habits, the old relationships, the old environments, they start to clash with who you're becoming. That's not a sign that something's wrong, it's proof that something's working. You can't carry the weight of your old self into your new life. You have to let go. You have to release what no longer aligns. Growth demands release. And sometimes the things you're most afraid to let go of are the very things holding you back from your next level. And so, if you feel tension in your life right now, if you feel like you're being stretched, it's because you're being prepared. You're being molded for a higher version of yourself. The struggle you're in is not punishment, it's preparation. The discomfort you feel isn't meant to break you, it's meant to awaken you. You're being pushed to evolve, to expand, to rise beyond your current limits. And when you embrace that process instead of resisting it, you begin to flow with life instead of fighting against it. And the people who change their lives are the ones who stop chasing perfection and start chasing progress. They understand that perfection is paralysis. It keeps you stuck, overthinking, waiting for the right time. But progress builds momentum, progress builds confidence, even the smallest step forward counts. Because success isn't about giant leaps, it's about consistent movement in the right direction. One phone call, one workout, one moment of courage, one decision to keep going when everything inside you wants to quit. That's where transformation lives, in the daily grind of small, repeated choices that compound into greatness. And the truth is, you already have everything you need to start. You have time, if you choose to use it wisely. You have knowledge. If you choose to apply it, you have power. If you choose to own it, what stops most people isn't lack of ability, it's hesitation. It's overthinking. It's waiting for the perfect conditions that never come. The people who win are not the ones who know the most. They are the ones who act the fastest. They take imperfect action, learn from it, and adjust. They understand that the road to success is not straight. It's built on detours, failures, and lessons that teach resilience. And every single day, life gives you opportunities disguised as challenges. You can see them as problems, or you can see them as preparation. You can see them as roadblocks or as stepping stones. The perspective you choose determines your experience. When you see everything as happening for you instead of to you, life becomes a playground of growth instead of a battlefield of frustration. You begin to take ownership of every moment. You begin to lead your life instead of reacting to it. And as you keep walking this path of change, something else becomes clear. You begin to inspire others without even realizing it. People start noticing the fire in your eyes, the conviction in your voice, the strength in your presence. Your courage becomes contagious. Your discipline becomes an example. You become living proof that transformation is possible. And that's one of the most beautiful rewards of all. Not only do you change your life, but you give others permission to believe they can change theirs too. And so, when you feel tired, when you feel lost, when you feel like nothing's working, remind yourself, you're building something that takes time. You're building character, discipline, faith, and resilience. Those things aren't visible yet, but they're forming within you every single day. The world might not see it, but one day they will. And when that day comes, everything will make sense. Every struggle, every tear, every lonely night will reveal its purpose. And the person you are becoming is greater than the pain you're enduring. Keep your eyes on the vision, not the obstacles. Keep your focus on the future, not the fear. Because one day you'll look back and realize that the hardest seasons were the ones that built the strongest version of you. You'll see that every delay was divine, every detour was direction, and every disappointment was redirection. And when that happens, when you step into the life you once only dreamed of, you'll understand that it was never luck. It was never chance. It was the power of decision, the power of discipline, the power of faith, and the power of persistence. You'll realize that the moment you decided to change your life, your future began to shift. Because you didn't just wish for change, you became it. And that's what separates those who dream from those who do. And And as you continue to walk that path of becoming, you start to realize something profound. The journey itself was always the real reward. You thought it was about the destination, the achievement, the breakthrough. But it was never just that. It was about who you became in the process. It was about discovering that you are far more powerful, far more capable, and far more resilient than you ever imagined. You see, true change doesn't just happen once, it becomes a way of living. It becomes the rhythm of your existence, a daily commitment to evolve, to stretch, to rise, to refuse to settle for anything less than your full potential. And you begin to recognize that growth and peace can coexist. You no longer chase chaos to feel alive because you've learned how to create peace without losing your fire. You start to build a life that doesn't just look successful from the outside, but feels meaningful on the inside. You stop trying to prove yourself to others and start building from a place of certainty. Because when you truly change your life, you don't do it for validation. You do it because your soul refuses to stay small any longer. You outgrow the need for approval. You start choosing alignment over applause, and that's when life starts aligning with you in ways you never thought possible. And you see, when you step into your power, you start attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that match your new energy. It's not magic. It's alignment. You become a magnet for what you're ready for. When your mindset shifts, your world shifts with it. That's why the greatest investment you'll ever make is in yourself. Because when you grow, everything connected to you grows. Your relationships improve, your finances expand, your health strengthens, your confidence amplifies. All because you decided to work on the foundation, you. And I want you to really feel this. You are one decision away from a completely different life. One decision to stop tolerating what drains you. One decision to start showing up differently. One decision to take the leap you've been avoiding. Most people never experience transformation because they wait for certainty before moving forward. But certainty doesn't come first, courage does. You move and then certainty follows. You act and then the path reveals itself. Every major shift in your life will come from a moment of uncertainty that you faced with faith instead of fear. And so, if you're standing at a crossroads right now, unsure of what to do next, remember this. Indecision is a decision. Waiting for the right time is a form of fear. There is no perfect time. There is only now, and the longer you wait, the louder your doubts become. But the moment you take action, the noise begins to fade, momentum quiets fear, progress silences doubt. The secret to changing your life isn't about having it all figured out. It's about trusting yourself enough to begin even when you don't. And when you do begin, life will test you. It will ask, how bad do you really want it? It will throw distractions, obstacles, and moments of frustration in your path not to stop you, but to strengthen you. Every time you face resistance, you're being given a chance to prove your commitment. Resistance isn't rejection, it's refinement. It's life sculpting you into someone who can handle the success you've been praying for, because you're not just chasing results. You're becoming the person capable of maintaining them. Anyone can reach a peak once, but staying there requires mastery, and mastery is built through moments of struggle. And that's why you can't be afraid of the hard days. The hard days are what separate the dreamers from the doers. The hard days are what forge the mindset of champions. You learn to find beauty in the battle. You learn to smile even when things don't make sense because you trust that everything is working in your favor, even the pain. You learn to say, I may not understand it now, but I know this moment is preparing me for something greater. That's when you start to embody real strength, not just the strength to fight through life, but the strength to flow with it. And as you grow stronger, you begin to see how much energy you used to waste on things that didn't matter. On worrying about other people's opinions, on replaying the past, on fearing outcomes you couldn't control. When you rise, you start conserving your energy for creation instead of conflict. You realize that peace is not the absence of problems, it's the ability to stay centered regardless of them. You stop chasing validation and start living in vibration. You start valuing silence as much as success, reflection as much as recognition. But here's the paradox of change. The moment you stop obsessing over how far you have to go and start appreciating how far you've come, you accelerate even faster. Gratitude becomes your fuel. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance. It reminds you that you're already living through moments you once prayed for. Gratitude grounds you in the present while faith propels you toward the future. When those two forces align, nothing can stop you. You become unstoppable not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger than what used to stop you. And the greatest transformations happen when you stop trying to control everything and start learning to trust yourself. You've been through storms that should have broken you, but you're still here. You've faced seasons where you didn't know how you'd make it, and yet you did. That's proof that you're resilient, proof that you're guided, proof that you've got everything it takes to rise again and again. Sometimes you need to look back not to dwell, but to remember the evidence of your own strength. You've conquered before, and you will conquer again. And there will come a moment, a quiet, powerful moment, when you realize that you've become the person you once admired. You'll see that all the pain had a purpose, all the struggle had meaning, all the waiting was worth it. Because transformation isn't just about achieving goals, it's about aligning your outer world with the greatness that was always inside you. You start living from a place of truth instead of fear, authenticity instead of approval. You start creating from your soul instead of your ego. And when you reach that place, success no longer feels like chasing, it feels like attracting. And you realize that the power to change your life was never out there, it was always in you. Every dream, every vision, every idea that kept tugging at your heart was placed there for a reason. It's not random, it's calling you. It's your reminder that you're meant to create, to contribute, to lead, to shine. And the only thing standing between you and that reality is hesitation. But hesitation dies the moment you take the first step. The moment you choose courage over comfort, your new life begins. And when you live from that place, when you start acting like the person you're becoming instead of the person you've been, your world begins to rearrange itself around your new identity. You attract what you believe you deserve. If you want better, you have to believe you're worthy of better. You can't wait for the world to give you permission, you have to declare it. You have to move like your dream is already yours, speak like your breakthrough is already happening, and live like the future you desire is unfolding right now. And because that's the essence of transformation, it's not waiting for something to happen. It's realizing that you are the happening. You are the change, you are the movement, you are the force that shifts everything the moment you decide to live fully. And once you truly grasp that, there's no going back. You stop surviving and start thriving. You stop hoping and start knowing. You stop wishing for change and start becoming the embodiment of it, and through it all you'll learn one final truth. The journey never really ends. Because every time you reach one level, there's another calling you higher. Every time you grow comfortable, life invites you to stretch again. Every time you think you've arrived, a new version of you begins to awaken. That's the beauty of becoming. It never stops. You are a masterpiece in motion, constantly being refined, constantly being reborn, and the more you embrace that truth, the more limitless your life becomes.